Let's see. Okay. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here. We're going to start. I'm Barb Grimsgard. I'm the Director of Communications for the Center of Workforce Innovations and the Northwest Indiana Workforce Board. And today, we'd like to thank you for joining us. You're going to learn about the project taking place at the Dunn's Bridge, the big solar project. You'll learn about the project itself and the workers that the IBEW Local 531 is going to be needing, as well as hearing about a supplemental week-long training to enhance your resume and application. You'll also hear about the scholarships available for this training. Our presenters today are Jim Clarita. Jim is the business manager and financial secretary at the IBEW 531. He'll be joined by Patty Shields, who's the executive director of career coaching and employer connections at Ivy Tech Community College, and Stacy DeYoung. Stacy is the skills training manager at the WorkOne Northwest Indiana. For the Northwest, WorkOne Northwest Indiana. We're going to start with Jim. Jim, to talk a little bit about how the IBEW Local 531 became involved with this project. Jim, can you give us a little background on the project itself, the size and the timeline? Sure. And such?
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate everyone coming on this morning. Again, I apologize for being late. I was putting out some fires actually from this project this morning. But yeah, so one thing that's interesting about a solar project is they take years to come to fruition, right? So this project actually got kind of on our radar 4 or 5 years ago, just because one of our members actually owned some farm ground down there and was approached about leasing the property. So usually by the time a job like this has people actually working on it, it's already been 4 or 5 years in the making, right? So anytime you see something on Facebook and stuff like that, it doesn't mean that there's gonna be boots on the ground in a week. It's usually a few years out. But we got involved because the developer, NextEra, who is one of the world's largest renewable energy developers, was doing this project, and the contractor, Cupertino Electric, does a lot of work for them, and they're based out of California. So they were reached out to. Long story short, fast forward, here they are, 2021, putting this job together, and because they are a signatory contractor, right? They're a union contractor. They use all 100% IBEW employees to man their projects. So that's kind of how we got involved. Kind of just the size and scope of the project. It's 700 megawatts, so that's kind of enough power to power about 200,000 homes. It's on about 5,000 acres. It's actually about 5,500 acres in total. Yeah, you got some good bullet points there. It's about 2.5 years. We're about 6 months into it, so there's still a couple years to go on it. I know they've been driving a lot of the posts in the ground right now, and they're just getting ready to start all the racking that will go on top of the post, and then on top of the racking is when the solar panels actually go on. So if you go down there, you won't see any solar panels up yet, but in about another 3 or 4 months you will. So there's still a long timeline left on this project. It's gonna peak about October or so of this year, late summer, early fall. At around 500 people. We've got about 130 down there right now.
So you're going to be hiring hundreds upon hundreds of electrician helpers, right?
Yeah,
so,
about 300, 350 of them, yeah.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. Give us a job description. If you were to put a job description together on what that helper would be doing, can you give us a little indication on that?
Sure. So their scope of work is going to be anything that has to do with like material handling, like I said, the posts, the racking portion, and the actual solar panels themselves, right? So they're not going to be out there having to work with AC/DC voltages or anything like that. That's what the electricians are there for. And interestingly enough, about 70% of a solar project is just the post and rack and paneling, right? So there's a ton of man hours that's needed to do that. So they could go down there and be involved with, GPS layout, actually driving the posts, putting the racking together, putting the panels on. Obviously braving the elements right down there right now. It's pretty cold. Summertime will obviously be hot. But there's a large scope of stuff that someone could be doing down there.
So when you talk about these helpers, what are some of the qualifications that
Sure.
you're looking for?
Sure. So got to be 18, right, by law to work on a construction site. Obviously, we're looking for good attitudes and all that kind of stuff, right? But we don't know that till they get there. But 18, reliable transportation, right? You've got to be able to get to work every day and on time, and then pass a drug test. You know, we drug screen everyone before we send them down there. So if you've got that and a willingness to learn, the opportunities are pretty endless for this project.
So you talk about opportunities. Are the opportunities, can the opportunities of them taking one of these positions lead them into a pathway of getting into the union and the apprenticeship program?
Sure, yeah, and they're all coming into the union anyway, right? So regardless of whether they become an apprentice or stay a helper, they're all becoming members and enjoying the benefits that we all have of that. But no, you're absolutely right. There's a bunch of opportunities, and it's super exciting, especially for all the communities around here. Just because of the amount of people that we need to bring on, there's a lot of opportunities for people that normally might not have an opportunity with the IBEW. So they can certainly use this as a kind of a jump start into the apprenticeship. And we've already had a number of guys and gals go down there and say, hey, I kind of like this, but I'd like to be a full-fledged electrician too. So they're applying to the apprenticeship, and the ones that have really good attitudes and good work ethic, you know, the guys that are down there writing, you know, recommendation letters and things like that. And then some of them they don't want to be electricians. They just want to stay in the renewable world like this. And fortunately right now, especially in Indiana, there's 5 to 7 years worth of solar work, even just with this one contractor. So we're telling these guys and gals like, hey, you can stay in this lane as a helper and just move around the state and even the country if that's what you're into, and just do this kind of work. Or like I said, use this as a jump start into the apprenticeship if you want. So the options are kind of endless. It's not like, well, if you do this, then your next step is this. The ball's kind of in their court to choose how they want to move forward.
Yeah, and I've heard that Indiana is becoming somewhat of a solar mecca,
It is.
center, you know, center, epicenter for solar farms and renewable energy. So it's growing. It's not going away, right? I mean, this is just going to grow and grow. It's going to be the future. So
That's what I said.
what a way to get in.
Sorry, I say 5 to 7 years
ahead.
with the solar work. That's already under, like, it's under contract. It's happening. You know, and there'll be more that comes, you know, along the way. But there's 5 to 7 years. It's already inked and under contract that's going to get done.
And where exactly is the Dunsbridge project at?
So it's down in Wheatfield. Of course, you know, it's 10 square miles, right? So it's a large chunk down there. But the main, like what we call lay down area, right, where all the trailers and the offices and stuff like that, it's actually on the corner of Route 10 and 300. I think that's 300 East. So you can see the powerhouse, right? The NIPSCO Gen Station that's right there. But that's kind of the main area. And then the project at that point, it's just, you know, it's all over. You know?
Yeah. So, you know, you talked a little bit about those benefits, the union benefits that these folks will be able to take advantage of, compensation and benefits. The other thing is, what do they need? I mean, are they going to need their tools? Do you provide all that for them? Are they going to need any kind of equipment or I don't know, boots and whatever tools and requirements you have? Do you provide that to them? Do they need to go through all that and pick all that out and purchase it?
Yeah, great question. And we do an orientation with everyone and we go over all that kind of stuff too. The tools that they need to provide are very, very minimal. You know, like a torpedo level, tape measure, you know, hammer, maybe a set of clines or something like that. Very, very minimal. All your bigger tools, drills and impacts and things like that, the contractor provides all of that. And safety equipment, the contractor also provides all of that, right? So hard hats, gloves, safety glasses, all that's all provided. So they don't need to purchase that themselves, and I mean, unless they want to. But no, it's a very minimal list. You know, like work boots, obviously, and your work clothes and stuff, you have to, provide your own clothes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's very minimal compared to what like our journeyman inside wiremen and stuff like that have to provide.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as your expectations, the IBEW's expectations,
Mhm.
A person comes on, they apply, they get into the position, right? They're accepted into this project or program, if you want to call it.
Sure.
So tell me what those expectations are. And I know you touched on a few of the soft skills, the importance of being on time, but can you go into a little more on what the expectations are that you have
Sure.
of that employee coming on board?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not really any different than what any other business would expect. The biggest thing is attendance, right? If you say you're going to be at work, then you need to be there and on time. Just because of the way a construction project is set up, if you're supposed to be there at 7, but don't get there at 7:20, that kind of messes a lot of stuff up. It's not a matter of just jumping in and starting your job, because a lot of things are team efforts. But obviously, good attitude and a willingness to learn. All those soft skills that we're all looking for. So yeah, the biggest thing we preach is just attendance. If you don't want the job, that's fine. But if you do say you're going to want it, then they're going to need you there for all the hours that it's scheduled.
Right. And be on time. Be on time. Right.
And everyone,
Jim,
we tell them everyone needs a day off. Everyone takes vacations or whatever. So long as you communicate that so that they know that you're not going to be there, then it's fine.
Yeah, just being open about all that from the get-go.
Sure.
I'm sharing. I don't know if you can see it up there. I have your website. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so I've got the website up. You wanted me to go ahead and show them if I can. Let's see. So if they were to go to your website, which is IBEW Local 531.org, they'd go to job opportunities, go down to Dunsbridge Solar Helper project, and here is all the information.
Correct.
As you scroll down, it talks, it basically reiterates everything that Jim just spoke about, but it also has the membership packet below and the helper application. Correct, Jim? Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Do you want me to go ahead and open anything up?
No, I just wanted everyone to see exactly where to go. And like I said, all the information's there. And if you scroll down, you can just hit like I think it's an apply now button, and it pulls up a fillable PDF, right? So someone can just go ahead and fill it out. And then I wasn't able to hit build a submit button. So all you got to do is just download it on your phone and then just email us back and attach it. So we tried to make it as easy as possible to apply and not have to, come all up here to the office or whatever and apply. So yeah, I just wanted
Jim, I can go ahead and pop that website into the chat for people if you'd like me to do that.
Sure, that'd be great.
I will do that.
That's great. That's great. You can do that, Patty. That would be wonderful. And you said to download it on your phone, but they can do it on their laptop or on desktop as well. Yeah.
It's actually easier on a desktop. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this screen, and I want to let everybody know we're going to save some time at the end for some questions, Q&A. So if you can hold your questions until then, that would be great. If not, go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll get to that as well. Thank you, Jim. We're going to move on now to Patty. Patty, as I said, is with Ivy Tech, and she is going to talk a little bit about Ivy Tech's role in getting individuals through a week-long training, a supplemental training. And I'm going to let her go ahead and talk a little bit about that and how they are working together with the IBEW in providing some of these folks that go through the training, putting them through that pipeline directly to Jim and his team at IBEW.
Thank you, Barb. I am Patty Shields, and I am with Ivy Tech. And Ivy Tech has really been out in front of the whole renewable energy boom. We do have a renewable energy degree and certificate program. And so this was really a nice fit. We've been discussing this project with Next Era. We've worked with CWI and the IBEW to create a training that is very specific for this kind of work. And we try to make it something that is very realistic, things that you can use immediately on the job. And so as we put this together, we thought Jim had mentioned safety. Safety is a big part of the training. During this, you will be receiving your OSHA 10, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. It's kind of the really gold standard national certification for safety. You will be receiving that. That is, again, a national certification. During this course, you will be getting your hands-on. This is a very hands-on class. You will be doing some building projects, and we are going to show a short video shortly with our instructor, Jim Wise, who will go through some of the things that you would be learning in class. It's not just 24 straight hours of lecture or anything like that. You'll be building some projects, working together as a team. So you'd be doing team building and communication, problem solving. And I think that you'll really enjoy some of the projects you'd be doing. Working on learning a little bit more about electricity, and then of course, the solar field as well. So we'll really broad range of things that you'll be doing during this 24 hours of instruction. And it is, again, we've worked together with IBEW. So, you know, it's not like we just put something together and said, oh gosh, I hope this is really what they need. This is what you'll be using as soon as you get out in the field working on the solar panels. So Barb, is it possible for you to show the video with Jim? It's right around 5 or 6 minutes, but we'll give you a pretty good look of what you would be doing while you're in class.
Can you see it? Is it up?
I think you probably have to stop screen sharing and then re-screen share. That's usually.
Thank you.
Yeah, that may help.
There we go. You got it?
Can you do anything with audio on your end, Barb?
I'm trying.
Okay. I mean, he looks very nice sitting there, but I don't think we can hear it very well.
Let me try this.
If I may, Barb and Patty, hi, this is Andrew. You might have to share your screen, and then there's an option to share the sound as well, and that makes sure that your volume is up with everyone else's volume.
Okay, so tell me that again. Walk me through that.
Sure, Barb. So when you share, hi everyone, I'm Andrew. I'm the career coach with Ivy Tech, and I made the video with Kathy as well for Patty. So when you share your screen, Barb, there's going to be an option to share your sound, and you should see a little box you can check.
I see it. Wonderful.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
Let's see if that helps at all.
Terrific. I'm sorry, folks. We'll try this again. Is that better?
Is that louder for everybody? Thumbs up? Okay, good.
Thank you.
Of course.
And if others can mute, that would be great.
My name is Jim Weiss. I'm an instructor for the solar training class at the Valparaiso Ivy Tech campus. I want to give you a brief overview of what the class is all about. You begin the class completing a 10-hour OSHA construction safety program, and that's going to be the first 2 nights that you're going to take up of the 5 nights that you'll be here. Once you complete that OSHA program, I'm going to instruct you in some basic electrical theory along with series and parallel circuits. Those are fairly important when you're dealing with solar arrays. In the lab, I'll show you the basics of transit surveying. Transit is something that you can use to lay out a solar array. Once we get the transit out of the way, I'll give you some safety instructions on how to use a circular saw and a hand drill. You're going to use those tools to build our lab project. The lab project is a full-size picnic table. It's going to take about 6 or 7 hours to put together, so it will go over a 2-night period. And then once you complete the project, you are completed for the class, and then you are eligible to find some type of job in the solar business. Thank you. These are the components that are used in putting solar power into a home or even just as a portable generator. You would have the solar cells outside. Those items over here are the solar cells. They come in different voltages. From the solar cells, we would run wires into this panel, into this box. It's called a combiner box. It's just where you are making the connections for the solar cells to one another and the solar cells to the rest of the electronics part of the system. From the combiner box, we go into a circuit breaker. It's just to protect against any problems that occur in the electrical circuit. Then we go into a charge load controller. This item charges your battery so that if you have only battery power, when the sun is up, this will go ahead and tie into the batteries and charge the batteries at the most efficient possible rate available. Then from here, we also end up going into this circuit breaker, again, just for protection in case of an overload or a short. Then we go into these items. These are called inverters. The solar cell will only put out, there's 2 types of voltages. There's DC voltage and AC voltage. DC voltage is the type of voltage that you use in your car. AC voltage is the type of voltage that you use in your house. You can't use car voltage to run house equipment, not directly. It has to go through something called an inverter. An inverter takes that DC voltage and turns it into household AC voltage. At that point, you can run whatever power is available from these inverters. They come in different sizes. This is 300 watt. This is 1500 watt. So you could run 20 amps worth of equipment off of this guy. 20 amp circuit breaker in your house would take care of most of the items in your kitchen. It could run, if you aren't using anything in the kitchen, it could run the majority of the rest of your lights, TV, stereos, anything along those lines. So all of this comprised together with the solar array makes up a solar power supply. All right, for the lab project or using the hand tools, you end up making a full-size picnic table. You end up measuring the wood, cutting the wood, and assembling the wood into a picnic table. We're in the storage area now. Every class makes a picnic table, so we end up with a number of them. So this is basically what you're looking at any rest area along a highway or something, you'll find picnic tables like this. So it's a full-size picnic table. It takes about 6 hours for us to put one together. And once you're done with that, you're done with the course. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Barb. And hopefully that gives you a bit of an overview of some of the things that you would be learning during class. So a little bit of everything kind of packed into that class. Our next class will begin January 24th, and our instructors will, they just came back from their break today, and so we will be adding more classes and hope to have those posted on the website by tomorrow at the latest.
Thank you, Patty. Yeah, so Patty mentioned the next class is starting. You'll be able to, at the end of the day today, we should have up on the go to workonenw.com website those new dates for those classes. I'd like to introduce Stacy. I'm going to have Stacy talk a little bit about those, not so much the classes, but the training scholarships available, how you can get the training, how you can enroll for that training through WorkOne, and the she'll talk a little bit about it. Are there any qualifications and the process that they go through, that she goes through in enrolling you to get into that class at Ivy Tech. I know Stacy, your son is also in the program, so start out by telling us how he's liking that program, how he's liking the program. I mean, the job. He got into it, correct?
Sure. So, when they turn 19, you don't hear from them a whole lot. So I haven't talked to my son in a couple of weeks, but I do remember when he first started in the program, just a couple of weeks into the job, he was really excited and called me and said, "Mom, I got my forklift certification and my telehandler certification today." And I didn't even know what a telehandler was. So he shot me a quick little video on Snapchat, and I thought, wow, I mean, that's an impressive piece of equipment. So it's really neat to hear firsthand from him and from a couple of our WorkOne participants who have taken part in this job opportunity and the training opportunity at Ivy Tech, to hear the things that they're learning and the type of on-the-job skills that they're getting right there on the ground. So yeah, so it's been really neat. Thanks for allowing me to share that side of things as well, just from a employee and a customer perspective. So as far as the grant, WorkOne, we were very fortunate to receive a grant to pay for these classes that Ivy Tech and the IBEW have collaborated together to offer. It's really been a great thing to help people get prepped for this kind of work. And we have a lot of people that have, lost their jobs and are completely changing direction. And, renewable energy is such a growing field, and literally hundreds of jobs come into our area. And it's really exciting to be a part of that. So to qualify for the scholarship, it's super easy. You contact Ivy Tech and provide them the information that you need to get registered in the course. And then they, usually a few days before class starts, they send me over a roster, and then one of the WorkOne staff will reach out to you. You see on the screen there, the Indiana Career Connect. If you've ever been to a WorkOne office, chances are you probably already have an Indiana Career Connect account. So if you do, that conversation when the staff member reaches out to you on the phone is just a 5-minute conversation, to update, your address, your phone number, if any of that stuff has changed. But we like to get people into the system too, if they need help with, job searching or, other type of opportunities. Maybe you are really interested in this project, but you have a family member who can't, do this type of work and might be interested in something else. So, we want to be a resource for everyone. So the staff will reach out, a few days before class starts and get you registered into the Indiana Career Connect system. And that's it. There's no special qualifications that you have to meet. It's really a pretty simple process. If you already have the account, couple of minutes, to update information. If you don't, the staff member can set that up with you right over the phone, and you'll get an email link to confirm, and that is literally it. So it could not be easier to apply, and there's really no, you don't have to meet a certain criteria in order to qualify for the grant to take this class. Just some of the things that Jim mentioned during his portion of the presentation, we want people that are interested in possibly getting into this type of work, and they're willing to learn and contribute to something really cool that's happening here in our region.
Great, thank you, Stacy. Before we get to some Q&A, Jim, Patty, are there any other things that you want to mention that perhaps didn't cross your mind at the moment, but you'd like to talk about now before we get to the Q&A?
The only thing I would say is the application is short and sweet. It's a one-page application. Kathy Kosteka here in our offices helped take care of that, and she can help you through that with any questions. And I'll pop her email into the chat as well.
And I think I have it up. Can you see the screen that I'm sharing right now? Is it up there? Okay. And Jim, that information is correct. That's on the screen right now for your email. Is that who they need to contact, or should they contact Josh Payne, or what would you like to say?
Yeah, Josh is handling it all, but on that application, we're asking for those to always be emailed to the info@IBEW Local 531. That way the whole team gets it and not just one of us.
Okay.
And that way we know it doesn't get missed. And I would say too, the only thing I would add is for anyone that's interested in taking this course, don't feel like you have to wait until you're done before you apply. You can go ahead and apply, while you're taking the course or while you're signing up for the course, and then that way we'll have the application and we can even be in communication with you, and then we'll just be waiting for you to finish. So it could actually help speed up the process and make the process a little more efficient if the sooner we can get the application. So don't feel like you have to wait till you're completely done with Ivy Tech before you get a hold of us.
And then any additional questions they can contact, they can email you, or correct?
For sure.
Okay. And Kathy Kosteka just mentioned that the phone number we have up here is incorrect. So she put the new phone number in the chat, which is 476-4761. We are getting some chat questions here. Jim, I don't know if you could see that. Somebody logged in a little late, and they said they don't know if this was covered. Are 17-year-olds eligible to apply?
So yeah, you can apply. I guess depending on when your birthday is, I'm fairly certain that it's Indiana law. You have to be 18. So if you're, and like I said earlier, since I know you logged on late, there's probably 2 years left on this project. So if you're 17 today and you're going to be 18 in May, go ahead and apply. And there's some certain things that we can do, and then at that point we'll just be waiting for you to turn 18, because that happens every year with our apprentices, because we always interview a bunch of high school seniors that are 17, and then it's a matter of waiting for them to graduate and turn 18. So absolutely you can apply. You just can't actually go to work until you're 18.
All right, thank you. Let's see, another question is, to work on the project, do potential employees have to go through the Ivy Tech course? Jim?
So they don't have to. Obviously, Ivy Tech is a great partner, and working with them, they put together a great curriculum. It would be beneficial, I would say, for someone to go through there, just because they're going to get you, OSHA 10, a lot of the things that we're not going to be able to get you until you get down on the job site. So no, it's not a prerequisite. You don't have to do it, but we certainly are encouraging people to take it.
Jim, I just have a quick question to
ahead.
follow up on that. I'm sorry, Barb. So if
No,
they
ahead.
do this class ahead of time, that helps with your onboarding process, correct? As far as the length of time, since they don't have to do the OSHA 10 once they're onboarded?
It does, yeah, because part of our onboarding, for someone to just say walks in off the street, there's an OSHA 10 component that you got to do. And a few other little things that this is going to cover. So it certainly does, streamline that a little bit for you.
Great, thanks for clarifying that.
Stacy, Stacy, when people apply at this course, it will be of no cost to them, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
For
The
Ivy
cost
Tech.
is a
Okay.
100% covered with the grant that we wrote in conjunction with the IBEW and Ivy Tech to be able to offer this course free of charge.
That's terrific.
And
Yeah,
it looks like,
terrific.
it looks like the person that asked about the being 17, looks like you're gonna be 18 in July. So if you're still on and can hear me, I would definitely say to go ahead and apply it at any time. And then they say come July when you're 18, I'm sure we will still be taking people. So that opportunity will most likely still probably be there.
Okay, let's see. While working on the solar farm, can you take the course at Ivy Tech at the same time? Who wants to take that? Patty?
Well, if I could just add to that, I'm pretty sure
Or
you guys are
Jim?
doing that during the day. I mean, it wouldn't make no difference to me. I mean, I wouldn't care if someone wanted to, but I just know if you're working on the project, you're gonna be working, 7 to, you're gonna be working Monday through Friday and some Saturdays. So I just don't know if there's time. I don't know if you guys are offering that course at night or on the weekends. So.
We are offering that at the weekend or in the evenings. Typically it's been from 5 to 9 or 5 to 10 to get our hours in. So it's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, take a little bit of arranging of your schedule in order
Sure.
to do that.
Mhm.
And for people that are, logistically not familiar with, once you get south of the river in that area, it's about a 25 to 30-minute drive from the job site to Ivy Tech Valparaiso campus. So it'd be really doable if you were, if there was an evening class offering coming up and you get off work at 3:30 or 4, very, very doable to make it to Ivy Tech by 5 o'clock for a class.
Good point, Stacy. That was good information. To give them kind of a perspective on that time frame and travel. April asked, can a 17-year-old take the class and wait until they're 18 to start the project?
I can do some checking on that. My initial thought would be yes. I would have to make sure that would be, you would be able to get your OSHA 10. I believe that you can when you're 17, but you can reach out to Kathy and we can get that information as a definite for you.
And remember, Kathy's number is the one on the screen is incorrect. So the number is 219-476-4761. And you'll want to ask for Kathy. Any other questions? Can felons apply? Somebody asked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jim?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions?
I guess Barbara, if I could just kind of maybe fill in,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sure some people are kind of wondering, and I won't get too in the weeds because we have a ton of moving parts, but as far as like
No,
what,
go ahead.
wages and benefits and stuff like that, right? So,
Right.
so this is a huge opportunity, like I said, for a lot of people who traditionally, just by going through the apprenticeship might not be able to get in because, we only take so many people a year. But this opportunity is allowing our local to grow and allow other people to become IBEW members because of this, this industry now. So everyone that does come in is becoming a member, which comes with it certain benefits, right? So everyone that's starting out, right now they're starting out at $15.77. And their raises are approximately about every 6 months. It's actually based off hours. So about every 750 hours, they're getting a raise. And the next raise bumps them up to $16.60. So that's in about 6 months. And then 6 months from then, you're at $28.22 an hour right now. And those will only go up just because those wages are based off of a percentage of our electricians, right? And every June the contract renews and they all go up a little bit. So the wages are pretty good. And there's quick raises, right? You don't have to work for a year and a half before you get a quarter raise or something. So, and as far as benefits, like I said, there's numerous death benefits. No one likes to talk about those, but we do have them. There's healthcare. It's blue chip healthcare. They get the same healthcare that I personally have. There's an HRA component, right, which allows you to be reimbursed for any out of pocket expenses. So the healthcare is phenomenal. It covers not only the member, but it also covers the spouse if they're married. covers any and all dependents at no cost to the guy or gal. And then there's also 2 pensions. Pensions are something a lot of people don't talk about anymore because traditionally employers don't offer them. Everyone has 401s and things like that now, but there are 2 pensions, which majority of these guys and gals are young and aren't thinking about that, but in 40 years, they'll be happy that they had it. So the total, what we call the total package, right? So the total cost of a guy brand new on day one is it's a $24.52 an hour job.
Yeah.
So with wages, the healthcare, all that rolled in, it's $49,000 a year job on day one.
Yeah. Not bad, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Jim,
And getting your foot in the door.
I really appreciate you going into that too, Jim, and talking about the healthcare benefits, because in the WorkOne offices, and as I've registered people for this class, and our counselors are referring people to this position, a lot of times the questions we'll get is about the wage, and that's it. But when you think about other positions available that are out there that might pay a comparable wage, these people are spending $100 a week, $200 a week for their health care for their family, and just that health care being available at no cost. The value of that is it's priceless, in today's world. And I really appreciate you going into that, because that's some of the questions that we get asked, in our WorkOne offices. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. And it's important to convey that message, because especially when they're young, and I get it, everyone's like, well, what do I make? What do I make? And granted, there's jobs that you can go out there that might pay a couple dollars more an hour on day one, but you're not going to get any of these benefits. And, we're not really offering jobs, right? This is most definitely a career opportunity with only room to go up. And, especially when you talk about the healthcare, you hit the nail on the head that there are companies that maybe offer health care, but it's usually it's some sort of a deduction, or there's a shared cost there by the employee. This is completely at no cost to our membership. And like I said, it's really good health care, covers spouses, covers your dependents. We have a $600 deductible, so
Wow.
it's not like this is some high deductible, $10,000 deductible plan where it's like having health care, but you don't, right? It's really good. So I can't preach enough. Unions have always historically been very good about having outstanding benefits, and even these helpers here are certainly going to get to take part in that.
And the opportunity to be at a $28 an hour wage within about a year that is not to be taken lightly. So thanks.
Yeah. And then it still goes up. It actually tops out at $30.71 right now.
Wow, great.
So in a year and a half, you could be making $61,000 just take home and still have health care, and you'd be 2 years into a pension, and 2 years into 2 pensions at that point. It's exciting. I get kind of geeky over it because it's a great opportunity.
It's okay to get geeky over.
Yeah.
It is exciting, and it's just going to continue growing. It's just going to continue growing. So I would encourage all. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, it is super exciting because every year we have a couple hundred people apply. By the time we get down to interviews, we interview 80 to 100, and then say on average we take 15, 16 a year. So you're telling a lot of people no every year that are really great candidates, but you only got room for so many. This now is so exciting because now we can open that opportunity back up to people where we need a few hundred. So instead of only taking 15 a year, we're taking 150, right? So a lot of people that want to become a part of us and just didn't quite make the cut for whatever reason. Now that opportunity is back on the table. So it's super exciting for us, the communities we serve. It's a great honor to really be a part of all this. I'm super excited about it.
Great. Wesley here says that the NAACP branch 3061 is on board. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good.
Michigan City?
Is that Michigan City, Wesley? Don Briggs.
I'm one of us. Donita Scully and Wes Scully have been on this call.
Yeah, that does mean,
All right.
it does mean Michigan City, but specifically LaPorte County. And we can also take some students from Gary. So yeah, this sounds really nice.
Wonderful, Donita. Thank you for chiming in on that, and Don and Wesley. Wonderful. Okay,
you.
so I think that about wraps it up. Where we went over on our time here, but it was a good discussion, a lot of great questions. And again, if you have any other questions in general, you can contact me at 462-2940. My extension's 1028. I guess that wraps it up. The recording will be on go to workonenw.com by the end of the day. And thank you all for joining us.
Let me have
Thanks,
that phone number
everybody.
again real quick.
Wesley, go ahead, Wesley.
Let me get that phone number again. Your phone number.
219. Okay, 219-462-2940, and my extension's 1028.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Wesley. All right, everybody, have a great day. I'd like to thank our speakers as well. We'll see you all later.
Take care,
Aye.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.